Thank you, everyone, and thank you to GoCommerce for having AVASK here. We're really excited to be in Israel and to meet everyone. So just to give an overview quickly, myself, I'm a senior manager at AVASK for our customs and EPR department. Now, I help with importing and basically any new regulations that are coming in, hence why we set up these new departments in recent times, which I can explain more in further detail on the next slides. But just to give an overview who AVASK are. So AVASK, we're based in the UK, so we have our headquarters, which is in Southampton. We assist e-commerce sellers expand into different marketplaces and dealing with all regulatory issues. So whether that's international tax, you might be registering for VAT. It might be bringing goods in, getting them through customs, anything else regulation-based. So we assist sellers from all over the world, and we have a global presence. So we assist over 10,000 clients from all over the world expanding into new markets. So like if you have an Israeli company, you're looking to expand to Europe, or you're looking to expand to the US, and you've got to deal with all the tax regulations, you've got to deal with importing, any regulations based there, we would help sellers with. And yeah, as I said, we've helped over 10,000 sellers expand to new marketplaces. As a company, sorry, I'm skipping a little bit too far. So yeah, as a company, we've been working with Amazon for the last 7 or 8 years. We've been going for 10 years, but we've been working with Amazon since 2013. We've worked on many different projects with Amazon, whether that's helping sellers expand to Europe, whether help them expand to the US, or working on new projects like customs and helping people get products into certain countries. Yeah, it's not just Europe and the US. We also deal with countries like the UAE, Australia, and helping people expand to those markets as well. So yeah, as I said, we have a global presence. So the headquarters is based in the UK, but we do have global presence in other countries as well. In terms of the last few years, and I will be honest, it has been difficult for a lot of e-commerce sellers. We've been in the industry for quite a while. We've helped people expand, and it's definitely a lot harder than it was previously. So if you were starting to sell 5 or 6 years ago, lots of people, they didn't have to do as much as they have to do now. But if I'm honest, it is a good thing, and it does create opportunity because it allows businesses to be more serious. You don't just get random businesses starting, not dealing with regulation, people undercutting other businesses because they're not paying VAT or they're not paying tax or whatever it might be. So it does lead the way for more serious businesses. Obviously, we saw the pandemic. The pandemic saw a lot of change in the e-commerce market. We saw a lot of sellers who they had better sales. They might have had better sales because they sold a certain product which you could use at home, or they might have sold a product that wasn't in that category, or it was in a different category, and they really saw a massive dip in what they were selling. So we've seen all different sides, and obviously we also saw a lot of new sellers. Lots more people look to expand to like e-commerce and look to start selling to create additional revenue streams. It might be because they want additional income, or it might be because they want more security, and e-commerce seems to be a big one at the moment that people look to for that. We also saw Brexit, so if anyone doesn't know what Brexit was, I'm sure a lot of people do, but if they don't, it was the separation of the UK from the European Union. And that had a massive impact on Europe as in general for e-commerce. Amazon, for example, it had a lot of issues with their programs, a lot of transition because there was an official border put in place between the UK and Europe. So there wasn't, we left what was called the free flow of moving goods. So goods you couldn't send to the UK anymore and then have Amazon send them across the border to Germany, France, Italy, Spain, which is what they previously used to do. And what a lot of people, if they have sold previously, that's some programs they might have been involved in. But since Brexit, there was a bit of a rocky period. It's been a rocky year and a half or so. But we've seen Amazon, other marketplaces start to really reassert themselves by potentially offering different promotions. You get governments offering grants as well that people can take advantage of because it is more expensive now to sell cross-border. There is more that you have to do, but essentially they still want people to expand internationally. They still want people to sell in different markets. So we've seen it, for example, in Spain. In Spain, the government have started offering grants to help people expand, pay for services. We've seen that in the UK. We've seen it across different countries. There's also new ways of trading with Europe. There's more that people need to do. People need to deal with other countries directly. Lots of companies, if you weren't from Europe and you were selling in Europe, they always used to bring goods into the UK, but now you have to bring goods into other countries, like, for example, Germany, France, which isn't quite as easy because it's a different language that people have to do. We've also seen the introduction of like eco-taxes. So essentially in certain markets in Europe, people now have to pay eco-taxes based on the waste they put onto the market. So, for example, you might be selling in Germany and you've got to start paying eco-taxes based on the packaging that you put on your products, or based on the packaging that Amazon put on your products. But obviously these are all barriers to entry, and these are all things that obviously seem a negative, but again, they are kind of a positive in my eyes because it leaves space for more serious sellers. There's more to deal with, more regulation, but it means less competition. And just not to put anyone off, but the eco-taxes are small contributions. So it's not to stop people from selling, it's essentially so people contribute to the waste they put on the market. And yeah, obviously I've been mentioning about the different regulations. This is something that AVASK help people with. We help people deal with all these regulations, make it as easy as possible so people can concentrate on the markets. And obviously you can see the size of the markets. There's massive opportunity. And lots of people don't trade in Europe because they think there's too much to deal with. They think it's the most complicated. Obviously the US, it's a bit easier to trade in the US. There's not as much regulation to go through. In Europe, there's still massive opportunity. I've spent lots of time speaking to e-commerce sellers since I started AVASK, which was 3.5 years ago. I've helped hundreds of people expand to new markets. And so many of those sellers I now see thriving from it. They're doing really well in business. You have stories of people who they obviously started from scratch, and now they're selling their businesses for 5x, 6x, 10x, and that's making them millions, which is obviously things people dream of, but it is reality in lots of cases. And yeah, as you can see, these are the markets, and massive opportunity in all of these markets. And yeah, we see it on a day-to-day basis. We're also now seeing, because of the pandemic, I think it's seen a lot more people try to diversify their markets. So you see there's lots of other markets, and a lot of people focus solely on Amazon, but you've got different marketplaces that people can concentrate on. Obviously, more people are now looking to introduce like logistics providers, 3PL services, because it's much more necessary. Obviously, Brexit, the pandemic, we saw Amazon start halting people's inventory. People couldn't inbound. People had 100% increase in sales, but they couldn't get their stock there. So hence why like different marketplaces diversifying, having your products in third-party warehouses is quite key these days to make sure that, okay, you're not just solely relying on one source. And in terms of like requirements when you need to sell in the EU or the UK, you're going to need things like VAT numbers. If you're looking to store, if you're looking to use any of Amazon's programs, like their pan-European program, if anyone's heard of that, you're going to need a VAT number, which is something that we can help you with. You also need what's called an EORI number, so this helps you with getting products in. Because of the separation between the UK and the EU, you now need it in each locations. You also need customs declarations, so when you import, you're going to need to pay taxes when you import, but you're also going to need to reclaim some of those taxes on your VAT returns, for example. And you also need representation for customs. It's not as simple as sending your products. You need to be represented by someone based locally in the UK or the European Union, which in other markets is not always necessarily what you need. So that's why some people do find it slightly confusing. But again, AVASK are here to help with all these regulatory issues. We've helped thousands of sellers expand to these markets. So yeah, things to consider. Obviously, diversifying your income stream, doing your marketplace research, what are your competitors doing, leverage social commerce, and obviously funding the expansion. It's one of these things, it's not going to be cheap. Before, when people started selling 3 or 4 years ago, there was lots less that people needed to pay for. So you got lots more businesses expanding, but now you have to make a bit more of an investment. But it's with any business, you need to make an investment. Obviously, you need to be serious about it. So I'm not going to stand here and say it's really easy. You don't need to make much investment to create, obviously, a new revenue stream. It is something that you will need to invest. You will need to spend time on, because you don't want to not spend time on it. You don't want to try and expand and then it not be worth it because you haven't really focused on it. So that would be my advice. If you are going to expand, make sure you have the time, you have the concentration, that you are going to be able to do it, and you're going to be able to do it 100%, not 50%, not 60, 100%. Yeah, so in terms of how we can help your business, so if you are looking to expand, we can help with things like accounting. So if you wanted to set up a separate entity, so if you don't want to trade with, say, your Israeli company, you want to trade with like a US company, a UK company, then we can set you up. We can deal with the accountancy, any kind of tax issues, VAT. VAT registration. So if you want to set up a company and then you want to sell in different markets, so you want to sell in the UK, you want to sell in Europe, you want to sell in the US, we can set you up with any of those relevant tax registrations. That also includes OSS and IOSS, which is different registrations that we saw in Europe over the last couple of years. Also, EPR, which is what I mentioned, is the eco taxes. So we can set you up to register you for eco taxes. We can also help you with importing your products. We can help with tax audits and investigations and business exit strategies. So we can take you from the start to the very end when you might be looking to exit the business and take the money. And yeah, this is just kind of a bit more of an overview of all of our services. So as you can see, yeah, we've got many different services, and we are very focused on e-commerce. If it's not a service that we offer, we always have a dedicated partner for that service. So if you want to expand into Europe, we can set you up for anything that you need, but if we can't set you up for that, then we would put you to a partner that we trust, someone that has a lot of experience in the market, someone that we can recommend. So yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for listening. Just as an FYI, we are running a promotion, a spring promotion. We've got a booth just outside. You can grab some information on that spring promotion. It's discount on services, so if you are looking to expand, this is a perfect time. Thanks.